Hello everyone and welcome to my channel on Centered with 7K. I am 7K. I am a relationship manifestation and life coach, and I combine the teachings of all three to offer you the best experience to bring in the love, the success, and the life that you so much want, need, and desire. All right, guys, so today's video is going to be yet another very juicy video. And some of this may be a little bit familiar to you and some of it may be completely new to you. So I have come up with a syndrome called the kid in the park syndrome. And it is something that the ex/the dumper goes through. And so, guys, if you haven't watched the dumper to dumpy timeline video on my channel, please go watch it because this video will definitely make more sense to you. But obviously, definitely still watch this video to the end because it's going to give you some really great nuggets as to how to become extremely magnetic, reattract your ex/the dumper. Now, before I get into the meat of this video, I have a smoke detector that has completely taken on a mind of its own and a life of its own. And it continues to say low battery, despite how many batteries I feed this thing. So it is getting close to Halloween, and maybe my smoke detector has a little ghost in it. Who knows? But I want to have a little bit of fun with this smoke detector, and I want to have a little contest. I want to find a name for this smoke detector that won't shut up. And what it continues to say every few minutes is low battery. So I've hired an electrician that will be here next week to rewire, replace my smoke detector. But in the meantime, let's find it a name. So post the names in the comment below. Please, guys, make sure it's respectful, but let's make it fun and funny. And whoever I choose, whatever name I choose, I'm going to give you as a thank you for participating, a free 30-minute coaching session. And of course, it can be a life coach session. It can be a relationship session or a law of attraction / manifestation session. So with that said, guys, enough of this madness. Let's get to the meat of this video. So, when I'm coaching clients or just talking to friends or family, about this thing called breakups and reconciliation and what we all experience, soon after a breakup, me included, because I went through a very, very traumatic breakup many, many years ago that brought me here to my purpose today. One of the questions that I ask in every session that is a relationship coaching session dealing with breakups and what to do and how to bring the ex back and can I bring them back and will they come back? I always ask, do you want to reconcile or do you want to move on? I intentionally ask this question because I'm always very curious as to the state of mind of where this person may or may not be. And more than 90% of the time, most people are very confused as to what to do. And obviously, a relationship that ends and that you felt you had no control over and you don't have the power to just make this person come back leaves you feeling powerless and helpless and, not attractive and, undesirable. And it just is not a good space to be in, while the ex/the dumper walks away with a sense of arrogance and feeling more attractive, successful, more desirable than you. Not intentionally, obviously. These are human beings that didn't choose to intentionally hurt you, but there was something about the relationship that no longer made them happy. They lost attraction, they got bored, they were interested in other things, places, maybe even other people. And in order for them to feel happiness and be fulfilled, according to them, they needed to end the relationship. And you are left with picking up the pieces and having to get this thing called your life together and reinvent and work on you. And with all that said, guys, I'm saying that because no matter what you are thinking, you only have one option. And that option is to move on. Now, a lot of you are going to say, well, 7, that doesn't make sense because why would I want to move on? I love this person. I was loving and loyal and generous and kind and compassionate. And, we have future plans. Some of you guys share children. Some of you were even married. And so the option to just immediately give up on this person seems like Why? Why would I want to do that? So I want to make clear to you guys that moving on doesn't mean that you do not have the right or the desire to want to reconcile with this person that walked away and ended the relationship. And the reason that I brought this subject up today, and before I talk about the kid in the park syndrome, is because when a person boots you out of their life, when they have ended the relationship, they have told you in so many words, I want out, I don't want to share contact with you, a life with you, a relationship with you, a future with you, or a life with you. You must not give yourself any other choice but to respect that choice and move on. Now, in order to be magnetic, reattract, become super desirable, and the fantasy of your ex again, or the dumper as you were when you first met, in order for you to make them obsessed with you, you must move on. And here is why. Let's talk about the kid in the park syndrome so you can understand what your ex / the dumper experiences during these emotions. And only you can actually take the necessary actions for yourself, the well-being of you, to encourage this phase in the breakup. So, the kid in the park syndrome. Many of you guys have young children, siblings. Maybe you've babysat someone else's children. Maybe you've just gone to the park just to hang out. Maybe you went to the park a lot when you were an adolescent or a teenager. And what's really obvious is when you see a parent or guardian take a young child, maybe a toddler, or maybe a child somewhat at the age of under maybe 10. The child comes into the park and they're very anxious and excited, and even more anxious and excited if they have been told days and weeks before being taken to the park that they're going to the park. So up to being at the park, they'll fantasize, they'll talk about it, they'll dream about it, and on the drive to the park, they are just as excited and anxious to experience the park as they want to be. Now, once they get to the park, they must undo their coat or take off their jacket, retie their shoes. The parent gives them a set of rules, and they are ready to go. And when a child is walked into the park and they see the children interacting and all the action, the slides, the seesaw, the swing, the monkey bars, the sandbox, children just laughing and talking, they just want in by any means necessary. And they do not, under any circumstances, want the parent to coddle them, hold them, stand beside them. They want to do this on their own. They want their freedom. They want to play with the other children. They want to feel like they can experience all that the park has to offer, and the parent has to keep their distance, because the moment that the parent tries to hold them under the monkey bars or catch them at the end of the slide, these children become frustrated, throw a temper tantrum. They feel like they are losing their freedom to interact on their own accord. But make no mistake about it. Ever so often, or every few minutes, the child will stop, turn around to make sure that that parent or guardian is still there. Because despite the freedom that they have to interact and play with the other children and experiment with all that this park has to offer, they need the sense of safety and security that that parent is still there. And the moment that they stop playing for just a brief moment to look again, and they don't see the parent, immediately panic and fear sets in. Now, perhaps the parent just moved to another bench to talk to other parents, whereby they still have full eyes on their child or the child. Maybe they chose to move somewhere where there's a little bit of shade. where they still have eyes on that child, but the child doesn't have eyes on them. And there is a fear that sets in. Where am I going to go? What am I going to do? How am I going to get home? Because their sense of protection and their sense of security has been taken from them according to them. Now, this is exactly, ladies and gentlemen, what the ex/the dumper will eventually experience it if you muster up the energy and the courage to move on. Because moving on, first and foremost, is for your own peace of mind and sanity, to gain clarity, and to also bring back to your life your self-respect, your dignity, and all the things that you may have lost, including your identity in this relationship. Your heart may still be with this person and desires reconciliation, but you must move on. So, when you have gone into no contact the right way and you are off the grid, and to go off the grid means no social media for at least 2 weeks to 30 days. No posting, no stalking social media, no looking at anyone else's social media. You are completely detoxing. And I recommend this to everyone going through a breakup when they immediately go into no contact, because there is a method to my madness. Guys, when you are no longer on the grid and no one, including the ex or the dumper, knows where you are, who you are with, what you're experiencing, entertaining, and eventually you resurface posting subtle pictures of you experiencing all these different amazing activities. And it can be something as subtle as a movie at home, maybe reading a book that you and your ex started reading together, maybe as large and exciting as visiting another country or doing an excursion that you and the ex and the dumper discussed and planned doing together. You are now showing subtle pictures of you socializing amongst other groups of people, whereby they cannot tell who is who and where has this person been and why are they not chasing and pursuing, and they begin to experience you moving on. Now, while you were moving on, they assumed that they can continue to experience their freedom, their options, and ever so often they would turn around and something would indicate to them that you were still there, that you were standing by, paralyzed, waiting for their call, waiting for their text, and waiting for them to say, I'm coming back. And that type of energy and that type of evidence is not going to re-attract your ex. It will not make you magnetic. But the moment that they turned around and realized that they no longer had eyes on you, had access to you, that you were no longer available or attainable, that you had taken responsibility of your own life, and that you moved on to enjoy other parts of your world, and they no longer were part of it, thanks to their choice to end the relationship, this is only and only when panic and the concern of losing you sets in. Reattraction sets in. This is where, ladies and gentlemen, you become extremely magnetic to your ex. This is where you become the center of their thoughts, their desires, their fantasy, and their attention. And they will have some awkward conversations with themselves. Well, I do want them back, and I cannot stop thinking about them. Where have they been? Who are they talking to? Have they moved on? Do they no longer find me attractive? Oh my God, why don't they want me anymore? I mean, I understand. I am the one that broke up with them. I am the one that ended the relationship. So how can I be mad that they're doing exactly what I asked them to do? They've moved on. But you know what? I thought they were going to choose me, and they were going to chase me and pursue me and beg for me and stalk me. But they're not doing any of that. What they're actually doing is exactly what I didn't think they would do, and they're moving on away from me. So what if I made the wrong choice? What if I was too impulsive? What if I didn't fight enough? Oh my God, now they are so extra amazing and they're doing all these things and now I want to be a part of, but I can't be a part of it because I chose to walk away. I chose to end the relationship. Ladies and gentlemen, this is where the kid in the park syndrome takes over the ex. And this is where you become magnetic as fuck. They cannot stop thinking of you, wanting to reach out to you. And even though for some it may take longer than others because some people are afraid to reach out, they're afraid of what you may think if they do come tuck-tailed between their legs. Some people just don't know what to say. And some maybe might be a little bit stubborn. But at the end of the day, to become the most magnetic, to become the most attracted again, you must move on. And you must come off the grid and allow them to feel the kid in the park syndrome. They must turn around looking for you, thinking that they have the security, that you will always be there. And to their surprise, you have moved on. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you are looking to turn the tables and change the course of this breakup, to be begging, to be crying, to demoralize yourself, to move without integrity and self-respect or dignity is not the way that you will regain attraction or become magnetic to the ex. You will continue to send them running for the hills to possibly never feel the need to ever come back. You must break their false sense of security that every time, just like the kid in the park, that every time they turn around, you will not always be there. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you understood this video and that you're actually tying this to all the other videos, because soon I'm going to be changing the concept of how to bring in the ex back through the power of law of attraction. But I wanted to make sure that you guys got the full gist and understanding of where you should be posturing yourself and where should you be in your life and what kind of work you should be doing if this thing that you want is reconciliation. Maybe not. Maybe you just want to be single. Maybe one day you just want to meet someone else. But these are things that we must nonetheless still learn in the aftermath of a breakup. So guys, please don't forget to comment below. If you need private one-on-one coaching, the details are in the description below. Please make sure to leave your questions and comments. I do try to address those as best I can. And obviously, do not forget to subscribe, like, and share my videos. Because YouTube gives me a little bit more resources to use, that makes me helping you a whole lot better. I love what I do. I'm building a wonderful community with you guys. I absolutely adore interacting with you guys. And pretty soon I'll be posting my first live video. So with that said, guys, please remember that at the end of the day, you have the power. And on to the next video.